Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap in review, I'm having an adult beverage, and tonight I'll be discussing Lola and the Millionaires by Kathryn Moon. While I do have this physical copy, I did read the version off of KU, and of course I'm giving my honest opinion. A little information about the reading order. This is part one of Lola's story. There are two parts as I understand it, but it is technically the second book in the Sweetverse series, with the first book being Baby and the Late Night Howlers. I did not have a chance to read it, and I don't feel like it was completely necessary in order to read this. Would it have provided deeper context? Probably, but I was still able to very much enjoy this book without reading it. Here are the highlights, the author's note, and I gave this a 4.5. So what's this book about? So this book is about Lola, who is just trying to get her life back on track. She is done chasing alphas who use and toss away betas like herself. She now has an apartment, not a great one, but it's hers, and her dream job at a dream company due to her cousin putting in a good word for her. The only issue is that this job will put her in contact with alphas, and not just any alphas, but one of a pack full of alluring men who always seem to be around to see her stumble or at her worst. While these men seem to be everything she could ever dream of, she is done with alphas who use betas as placeholders until they find their omega. And with this pack already having an omega who is a model, who is charming and playful, there's just no need for her, and it will only just break her heart. There's just, however, the small matter of their beta, Leo, whose calming and attentive behavior keeps drawing her in to where he and his pack are slowly breaking down all of her walls, to where she wants to take a chance that if she were to take it could give her everything she could ever dream of, but also provide her safety from an alpha who's coming back to complete the destruction he wrought on her life. So what are my thoughts? Again, I'm giving this a 4.5. Now, I really had a fun time reading this book, and I'm really excited to read the next one. I really enjoyed this because this book was a little bit different from what I typically see of Omegaverse books, because those typically fall into the why choose category, and I would say this falls more in alignment with polyamory. Now, as I understand it, I know there's a lot of discourse between these two communities because of the differences in the overlapping nature. As I understand it, a why choose is more of a closed group where, yes, that everyone can be dating each other, but there is still a central person, and no one really dates outside that group. While in polyamory, there is platonic relationships, there's romantic relationships within the group, but they also seek relationships outside the group with the consent of the other members. Now, I'm not going to attest to the accuracy, especially if I'm incorrect in my understanding of these two communities, but I will say I did enjoy the change up. It's not always my preference, but I do think this story did a really good job and it made it very interesting. Now, when it comes to the characters in this book, I think they truly shine, especially Lola, our female main character, who I really liked, who is resilient and is just trying to piece her life back together after the abuse and assault she has suffered by other alphas, who not only gave her a fear of alphas, but really played on her feelings of self-worth. But it's not just them. In the society, they really cater to alphas and omegas. And for betas, that does leave them feeling like they're not good enough. And it's just really heartbreaking to read her going through all of that. But now there's this pack of alphas who are really attentive and caring and want to take care of her. And honestly, in a multiple partner situation kind of book, I generally have one or two favorites, especially the dark and brooding ones. And West comes close to that, but honestly, all the men in this book are really great because they truly will go against their instincts and see to her needs and comfort, even if it means not just leaving the room, but leaving their own house just so that she's comfortable. And I just thought that was amazing to read. Now, if I have to choose favorites, it's going to be Leo, who's our beta, and Rakim, who's our omega, but that's also because they got the most pages with Lola. But as the story progressed and she became comfortable and opened up to the alphas, I really enjoyed their moments together, and I'm so excited to see that progress in the next book because I'm sure they're all just going to be my favorites in the end. Now, I also want to say the chemistry and spice in this book was really well done and really hot and off the charts. I especially enjoyed the passage during Rakim's heat. That one was my favorite, and I had a blast reading this book. I can't wait to read the next one, and this one's currently available, so I do recommend it, and I hope you give it a try, and I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.